Warning, this video is for educational and documentary purposes only. No video produced by this channel is meant to glorify or support any illegal activity. This channel covers events that may include topics involving violence and illegal substances. Viewer discretion advised.
Police say one of the cars in that gunfight crashed up the street.
Damn it, only been 30 days, dumped a whole birdie. Yeah, that's chicken talk, I know you heard me. And you ain't having chicken talk if you ain't up 30.
Welcome back to another episode of Tru-Street TV, where we cover everything street related. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, and let's get right into it. Today's story brings us back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, I know when most people hear Milwaukee or even Wisconsin, they ask the same question: are there even any black people there? Which is a ridiculous question. Milwaukee has roughly the same amount of black people as Atlanta. And although about half of Milwaukee is black, about 70% of the police force is white. Wisconsin also locks up African American men at a higher rate than any other state in the country, leaving thousands of Milwaukee's black youth fatherless and heading down the same exact path. This brings us to the man we're here to talk about today. 29-year-old Delisette Joyner, or better known as YPN Dougie, and his cousin, 29-year-old Marquise Lloyd, or better known as YPN Keys. 28-year-old Desmond Love, or better known as YPN Rex, will also be covering other YPN members such as Rex's little brother Tommy T, Jaquan Martin, better known as Quack Quack, and his younger brother P Merc, named Mercury Martin. This group hails from the city's north side, which started out as a group of friends trying to turn nothing into something, would end with them being one of the most incarcerated rap groups I've ever came across, as every member I just named is currently incarcerated except for P Merc. As kids, they went from stealing from stores to begging for change to selling bottled water. They eventually took after the older neighborhood hustlers they look up to and began selling drugs themselves. They would graduate from selling weed and start really hustling, which would bring them to the booth to talk about their street hustling success.
Steal from the stove. That down there was the first hustle. Second hustle, we used to go beg for change. That was my second hustle, begging for change. Then we elevated. I started going to sell bottled water, go sell bottled waters. So basically, it's like Milwaukee, you gotta have a hustle. You gotta do something because ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. So went to the bottled waters. Then after that, it was regular weed. And it just elevated after that. It's just getting bigger and bigger.
Rex, who started off rapping under the name Desi D, was the first one out of the group to start rapping. And would influence his friends to join him. Every member of this group would run into serious legal trouble before they even became popular. In 2014, Keith would be charged with possession with intent to sell weed, given 90 days in jail. Quack Quack would be charged with possession of narcotics, being sentenced to 6 months in jail. The next year, in 2015, it would begin to get worse. On June 1st, Rex would catch a conspiracy to deliver charge, which is basically when you sell to an undercover cop or an informant. He would quickly bond out for $2,500. In August of the same year, Quack was charged with possession with intent to sell heroin, a very serious charge that carries up to 15 years in prison. He would post a $5,300 cash bond and be back on the streets. A month later, Dougie would catch a high-speed charge and receive a signature bond. As you can tell, even though they were all around 18 and 19 years old, they were all deep in the streets hustling. They would shortly after start dropping music together and releasing Bad Gone in August.
First 10 G's cashed out.
And The Way I Do in October.
Drop it to the oil every time I hit the kitchen. When it's done, I text the act like, where you at? Come get it.
Not even 2 weeks after Bad Gone release, Rex would make another mistake and be charged with possession with intent to sell cocaine. He would bond out for $1,000. So now we're in 2016. Dougie was just released after serving 5 months for the high speed, and many members are out on bonds, but this wasn't stopping anything. June 3rd, Rex would get sentenced to a year in jail for his cases and would miss out on their first big song. Merc would catch a high-speed case, and Keith would make a huge mistake on August 30th, being charged with possession with intent to sell cocaine and heroin. As we talked about before, these are serious charges that can carry many years. He would receive a signature bond, and a month later, on September 28th, Keith and Dougie would reach out to Lil Chicken to collab on a song. If you aren't familiar with Chicken, go check out the video we did on him. They would link up to record the song, and the next day call Chicken to come shoot the video. Chicken would describe how Keith pulled up to the shoot with $25,000 cash, which was a lot of money in 2016.
Keith got like 25 bands on him, you know what I'm saying? Oh, let's shoot the video. Ooh, I'm like, what?
They released the song Dumper and instantly made huge waves in the Milwaukee rap scene. The term dumper is among many words used in Milwaukee that refer to someone selling a lot of drugs. Just like the term slapping and cracking, slapping or dumping your product just means you're selling a lot of it. Quack and Keys would drop a few songs at the end of 2016. One of the songs, being called Addicted by Keys, was a huge success and the first of many singles that went crazy in the mill by Keys. A group that will call themselves the Young Vets, D-Nice and Money Mount would diss Keys and YPN, causing Keys to drop Lost, a diss song that went absolutely crazy in the city. Dougie would catch a new case, another high-speed chase, along with possession of narcotics. He would deeply regret this as tragedy would strike in the coming months. It was a cold, snowy night on the city's north side around 10:30 p.m. when shots rang out on the block of 32nd Street and Hampton Avenue. A vehicle crashed into a bridge after apparently a shootout occurred, leaving two 20-year-olds dead in the crash. Mavante Holton and Ivan Boyd, two beloved members by YPN, would be found dead after this crash. An 18-year-old passenger survived the crash. He was booked into jail after guns and drugs were found in the car. I have reason to believe this 18-year-old is Tommy T. This would devastate the members, especially Dougie, as he was best friends with Ivan, and he was in jail at the time, not able to get out because of a PO hold.
RP my brother Ivan, he was getting it in. All my niggas is my brothers, I ain't got friends.
YPN will continue dropping huge songs all throughout 2017, with Keith leading the charge, racking up millions of views, even remixing Detroit classic All White Buffies. And even though his rap style was awkward and offbeat, it was the authenticity that drew so many listeners, as everyone knew YPN was really getting money.
All these hoes wanna fuck me.
Keys will catch another case February 17th, being charged with 2 counts of reckless endangering safety while already out on bond. He would post an additional $1,500 and be right back out. Dougie would be released in April, dropping First Day Out, which was huge in the city.
That's what y'all brag about, Ben slapped 20 and it came off passing out.
Rex would finally make his return to the streets that summer, instantly going to work, dropping the biggest song of his to date, Back Home, where he rapped about finally being back home to go right back to street hustling. Which would be a common mistake amongst all the members. His younger brother would be charged in the car accident deaths of Ivan and Mavante, being charged with hit and run resulting in death. While on the run for these charges, he would release Ballin' in My Phones, another huge song added to the group's catalog. And of course, with all of this success would bring some hate, as YPN members were in Atlanta at a strip club when Keith was jumped and robbed of his jewelry. A Milwaukee rapper by the name Free Grams Boo would instantly hit the internet to claim his fame from the incident, taking the jewelry to get tested, showing it was fake. Boo would also be involved in Dame Dot's chain being snatched in Milwaukee and would post that on the internet as well. Keith would instantly begin dissing back, accusing Free Grams Boo of being a snitch, which is 100% true. He was the star witness in a murder trial, but we'll be covering that in a separate video very soon. Though 2017 was their best year music-wise, a lot of them got sentenced this year. P. Mark received 4 months for the speed. Quack would receive 5 years in prison for his charges. Dougie would receive 6 months for his case, and a few months later, in February of 2018, Keith would receive 4 years in prison for his charges, and while in prison will receive an extra 3 years, but will have a chance to complete a program, which would basically cut his time in half. So with most members being incarcerated in 2018, the music was held down by Dougie and Rex. Rex dropped his tape War on Drugs early 2018. Shortly after this, his brother would go to trial for the hit and run case, being found guilty and being sentenced to 7 years in prison. And the next year, Dougie would make a huge mistake, being caught selling large amounts of drugs. He would receive 5 years in prison for these charges, and Rex would drop another mixtape in 2020 called Paid Forever. Quack would finally be released in 2021. He would rap about his case.
Fresh out the joint, 42 months, man. I don't know how many months it was. It was like 40-some months though.
Quack is back in prison until 2026. He must have violated his supervision because I don't see any new cases keeping him there. Rex, being the main face of YPN at this point, will continue dropping until tragedy would strike the Milwaukee streets. It was May 11th, 2022. A 5-year-old was being babysat by her auntie. When the mother went to pick up her kid, she realized the kid was no longer alive. Police searched the house and found corner-cut baggies with fentanyl in them and soon discovered the child had passed away from an overdose. Witnesses would tell police the mother's boyfriend, Oliver Smith, and Desmond Love were cooking drugs in the kitchen the day the child passed away. 10 days later, the men were arrested after a high-speed chase. In the car, police would find 4 guns and a lot of different drugs. Rex is now facing a lot of serious felonies, including reckless homicide for the child. He's being held on a $95,000 cash bond. The next year, the most popular member, YPN Keys, would earn early release and get out of prison early, doing a walk-a-mile interview where he expressed how he's not going to make the same mistakes and how he still owns businesses, houses, and apartments. Releasing Landlord Back October 2023.
The landlord.
He would be very wrong, as months later in April, he would be charged with possession of cocaine, heroin, and a Glock with the switch attached. He would quickly be revocated and sent back to prison, where he now fights this new case. It would have been crazy to see what this crew could have accomplished if they would have left the fast life behind and took rap all the way serious. But a lot of Milwaukee youth are pretty much brainwashed into thinking street hustling is the only way out. We're sending our condolences out to Ivan and Mavante, also to the innocent kid that lost their life due to irresponsible drug dealers. Obviously, we're hoping they're all innocent of these charges and will be proven so. If you made it this far, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel and keeps me making new videos. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.